Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue our series on beginners floral arranging with the short container centerpiece. We're going to use one of these containers from the Dollar Tree. We want to keep it very farmhouse in style. You're going to use a variety of flowers of your choice. We're going to use ivory and neutral color flowers. You're going to use it a lot. So here, you can reuse it and reuse it. You see stuff in it. You can reuse it and reuse it. But you want to go along the lines as the same tricks as the vase. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these leftover leaves from a flower project from before, and if you didn't watch the last video, basically what so many craft projects call for just the blossoms. So I have all of these stems with leaves left over from different projects. So what we're going to do is use these as greens, but you can buy them at the Dollar Tree if you want. So you can push these all down and pull the flower, the leaves back up. So that I'm just shortening the leaves. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. The thing with flower arranging is it really is what you like. It's what you grew up with, you know, some guidelines to get looks and stuff, but there's no rules, because that's what makes it farmhouse, is that eclectic. You know, you go to my Aunt Joyce's house. She's got a beautiful farmhouse. She actually has a farmhouse. It's actually a log cabin. It's historical. And she grew up in a farmhouse, and she's got, you know, pieces of furniture that are very, very little of it is just for show. A lot of it, most of it is utilitarian as well. So I don't have any idea what these were. I feel like they were something recently, but I don't have any idea what these were. So I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna spin them out 360 degrees. I have one that's left over without anything on it. Let's see if we could put a flower on there. But if we had to, we could just tuck it down with the handle, okay? So, because this is 360 degree arrangement, and you see some of them, like 2 of them are long and 2 of them are short. And we'll all center them together, okay? What do we want to do? Here are some. Again, I don't know exactly. They look like they're roses. I have so many projects left that have their leaves left over. I never know. I never remember what's from what. But I never throw them out. It's like bizarre. This is a usable piece of trash, if you know, one man's garbage, right? And it looks really pretty in the basket. Raffia, and there is Excelsior. Any of that stuff that you want to use, you can. All right. Plus, 160 degree arrangement. So you want to tilt all of your heads out in 4 different directions. This one has 4 blossoms on it, so the heads are going in 4 different directions. And we're going to decorate everything in the center, okay? And then 4 different directions. So we'll start with these. And I mentioned this in this fall, but I'll tell you again. When they come from the Dollar Tree factory, the petals are laying on top of each other because they're cut at the same time. But all flowers to be a tall arrangement. It's not aesthetically pleasing in all cases. Every once in a while you find something that's the opposite, but what you try to do, like we did with the tall vase, is we did a tall vase and a tall arrangement. You don't want it to be more than 2 times the height of the vessel. First of all, for safety reasons, when you use a vase like that, it'll tip over if it's top heavy. But for like this bucket, it's just aesthetically pleasing that it keeps its shape, it keeps its size, it keeps its dimensions. All right. To the white and ivory go. They do if it's farmhouse. You'll often see white mixed with ivory in the farmhouse. It's becoming extremely difficult to show you something without buying new flowers. Show you something new without buying new flowers today. What did I do? What did I do? Okay. So we're gonna pull these again. When you're doing a squatty arrangement, stuff that's really tall can come down really low. Oh, sorry. When you're doing a squatty arrangement, stuff that's really tall can come down really low. Okay. So with the sunflowers, okay, and the tall baby's breath. See, all the tall stuff seemed to land on this side. Is not my favorite, but because this container is short and squatty, we're keeping it short and squatty. We are giving it more of a wildflower sort of look where nothing is the focal, everything is just mixed, matched, and put together. Okay. I kept it all whites and ivories, mostly. Oh, apparently when you stick something in one side, something might come out the other side, so be careful about that. So there's something for everybody to look at all around the table, okay? So let's see. So that's everything. As always, you guys, you got to do what's pleasing to you, just like we mentioned in the last video. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comment box down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family. Anybody you know might be interested in learning how to make a short centerpiece. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a video. As always, you take care. God bless. See you next time. Bye.